Lovely, first thing, all my best friends here have been friends of mine for years. We're here for breakfast today to hear a load of porky pies, and I'm sure they'll enjoy it, right? I'll introduce you as we go. First of all, on my left here is Johnny McGee, John Junior McGee. He's a legend in his own time. I knew him when he first started flapping, and he was the king of the flaps. NGRC took years to give him a licence. When he got one, he became champion trainer 7 times. Trained a Derby winner, gone back to Ireland, and he's holding his own out there. Johnny's one of the best friends I've had in the last 50 years. Secondly, another absolute legend, Gary Wiltshire. Best friend of Cranky Tories, as we all know. But what I like about Gary, the best part I like about it, Gary told all about the flapping days. They've all took money from him, and he's took money from all of us. But the thing is with Gary, when he got hit by that big day at Ascot, he was on the floor. He was really knocked out. He's one of the only people I can swear came back, got back off the floor, paid everybody that was owed, every single penny, and he's made it back into the ring. That to me is a world champion. Any champion that gets off the floor and comes back to be a champion again, and he has done it. He's a legend in his own time. Right, thirdly, Mickey the Barber, Douglas. Now, I've known Mickey since he was 14, playing with Walton Forest schoolboys. I've watched his career go. I've seen all what he's done in the flapping game. He went on to be a very, very good trainer in his own right. He brought off some of the best gambles I've seen in dog racing, and I was there to witness it. I hear about him today on that television. I've won 50 grand, I won 40 grand. In the next breath they say, we can't get on with no one. But I'll tell you what, they did used to get on. When Mickey put one over the line, it went over the line. 9 out of 10 of his bets they occurred. You got it, you drew. To me, he's been a wonderful friend of mine for a long, long while. A long, long while. And I hope we stay longer, even more. Okay? Next one. My dearest friend. He is one of my best friends I've ever had, Stan Kennett. I've known Stan since he played football. I've watched his career, also good at the flapping game. Went on to be a very good trainer in his own right at NGRC and GBG, right? But Stan's more than a dog man to me. He is a personal friend and to my family. And having friends like him in life makes it all worthwhile. Right, now we go to the right. Philpott, Potty Philpott, right? I've known him since he was 14, playing at Rackley schoolboys. This fellow on the right here, he was the only trainer I knew, flapping, that had a contract at a flapping track at Colville. Him and the racing manager stitched more bookmakers up than anybody you know, right? He's a legend in his own little way. But anybody in the dog game has met Paul, or anyone in the sport world has met Paul. This fella gets up out of bed of a morning with a smile on his face, and he goes back to bed with a smile on his face. He's the most happiest and go-luckiest boy I've met in sport. And I want it to stay that way. Lovely to see you here today, son.
Cheers, mate.
Who am I going to talk about next door? Here's his book. Look, what an ugly bastard, isn't he? What an ugly bastard. But listen, it's all in there. This will be one of the best books you will read. Secondly, we've got another one over here, Gary. He's writing his second book. That's what they've done in life, to be able to write books. But this book, you've got to go and buy it. It's not all just about dogs, it's about his life in general. If anybody at Portsmouth didn't know him, they didn't live in Portsmouth. True. Right? Lovely to see him here today, here in Taggart. The young lady next to him, without her, he wouldn't be where he is today, right? She drives him where he does everything for him. She knows all the strokes he's pulled. She's read this book, she knows all that went on in this book, right? And to me, these people have been my life for 50 odd years. And please God, it goes on for a few more years. 85 next month. If I live to 90, and I spend another 5 years with these people, that'll do me. Come to the last one sitting behind me on my left, right? This is John Welsh, very good friend of mine, very good friend of John's, friend of most of them. Sean, self-made millionaire, had good dogs, trained good dogs, and to be fair, I'm pleased he come today, right? And I'll always remain a friend of Sean's. He's different class. And when I do charities, this man is one of the first to put up a cheque for me charities. These are the kind of people I'm here with this morning. You could have brought hundreds more in, but these are my closest ones. And they've got some lovely stories to tell. Sit back and enjoy the morning. Thank you.
You're talking about flapping tracks. I'll give you a funny story, bookmaking, it goes back. And you mentioned Clacton. And we went, I was working the market at the time, level lane with flowers, and a kid with me, Gary Selby, you know, who's been at the dog game, and we got a pitch at Clacton Dogs. So all of a sudden we're going there, so we're straight in the Mason mat. I think his name was John Old.
John Holmes.
John Old, who used to run it.
Yeah.
So Selby said to him, look,
Chippy's mate.
yeah, so Selby said to him, look, if there's a photo, John, tonight, we used to bet on the photo, like when they went past the line, how far did it win? In them days, you put up short head, dead head, neck. And Selby said to him one night, what are we going to do tonight, John? Short head tonight, every photo was short head. There might have been one race, and anyway, I think we got about 40 quid out of it. The following meet, it was Friday night it was on, and on the Friday night, he goes up, Selby, to John Old, he said, what are we going to call tonight? That was all cooking, there's no photo finish, you know, photo. He said a neck, right, the following one was there in the summer, blinding up, all the holiday makers used to go there in the summer there, Clacton. Well, this night, two dogs, they went past the line, honestly, mate. That was like that, Stan, you couldn't split them anyway. Geezers come up, so I'll put up the price. I went evens a short head, 6-4 a dead heat, 2-1 a head, 10-1 the others, because we know, like as a cook, it was a geezer, I'll never forget, he had a caravan down there. He had even 60 quid a short head, right, the fella, and he had a 60, I think he had a 30 to 20 a dead heat, just in case as a cover bet. Anyway, all of a sudden, went on, result, first trap 2, second trap 4, winning distance a neck, right, the geezer was on the floor, honestly. He went up to Selby, he said, that can't be a neck, mate. It can't be a neck, like, you know. And then afterwards, whatever we got out of it, we had to go mez and mez with John Old. But then flapping day, and he was the king of the flap. This programme is about flapping tracks, Maurice, what you said. And this man next to me, and all of them here, don't worry about him. Do you remember them Inkley days, John, when you used to well...
That's 40 odd years ago.
Yeah, 40 odd years ago. We used to have a race there, and the top heat of the night at Inkley, you had all the top sprinters, and you used to put dogs in no trial, didn't you? And he always said, I'll never forget, he had a black dog, and he used to meet... That's it, trap 4, always the worst trap.
That's right, coffin box.
And we used to meet every time, and if John had 200 quid in his pocket, you say, okay, I'll put me 200 quid on best price, or if he had 300 or whatever, or 80 quid, whatever it was in. And I don't think... And that night, you know, I was playing with a marked deck, because if you could lay 2-1 something in the race, or even money, you know that was up against him, and I'd have my last pound note on him to beat him. And the touches we had with them dogs, didn't we, John, there in that black dog. But they were good old days, weren't they?
Playing with marked deck, he says. He's always fucking played with marked deck.
Put your wig on, put your wig on.
A fucking marked deck, he says.
You mustn't say...
He said, let's get this fucking syrup on, right, here you
There's a marked deck, here, put this in your mouth, here.
Oh, what's that place in Colville? And I went, by gum, I says, I was trying to get on with him, he said, fucking Mark Deck, he said. I beat fucking the top poker player in Vegas. He said, I'm going to take fucking money off you, mate. I went, what?
They were the days, though, weren't they? When I used to go to Hackney, we lived in Islington at that time, and I remember getting a bus over there, getting out and walking. Waterden Road, was it? Waterden Road, yeah. But they were the good old days, weren't they? Saturday morning, and the bird that used to sell the cakes and the sausage rolls, Pearl, she had a fag in her mouth. The ash, when you saw the bacon roll, you used to have bacon roll with full of ash on the thing of it.
Well, if you had a breakfast here, Gary, and you didn't give her the £1 tip, she'd put a thumb in the egg. Yeah. That was a game, yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah.
Stan, people don't realise, Pearlie Ruddock that was.
Yeah.
She lived at the top of my turning.
Oh, you know them,
Of course, Pearlie. We went to school together, right? Her and her sisters and that. Nice little sisters. Anyway, that's another story. But the thing was, everyone knew Pearlie. They all knew her, didn't they? Right? You can go to Wembley, you can go to White City, you can go where you like. They wasn't known like she was. She was not worldwide, honestly.
Yeah, she looked after your children and all, didn't she? When you took your kids there.
Look after them.
I took my kids there and she'd look after them and feed them. And she was
She
good.
was pearly ruddy.
Yeah,
and she
was
married a
good.
fella called Blackery. John Blackery she married.
Yeah.
But I've seen her grow up. They were same age as me.
And even the bookies in them day, Homo,
They
they
was
were
better.
proper bookies, weren't they?
Yeah, but Gary,
yeah.
people
Johnny.
don't realise, when I was a youngster, right, the bookmakers was right round the track.
Wapping.
And at Clapton, and
And at Haringey.
and at West Ham, right the way round.
Yeah.
Walthamstow, right the way round. But then again, we used to have 2 meetings a week, 8 races, right? You couldn't do like you today, 24 hours back through the night on everything, on your phone.
It's like now.
You had to go dog racing.
I think now you can. It's people say about betting. It's like you can go to bed with a bookie now.
Of course you
got
can.
24/7.
you can.
What was it like Portsmouth? Was that a good track, Ian? With
Yeah,
bookies
very
in there?
good. Yeah, we used to have some fun there. Really good fun.
Really?
But they used to.
Good crowds.
Yeah, always packed. But they had a bent manager. Very unusual. Yeah.
The best fish and chips, Ian, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Best
lovely
fish and chips in that
No,
restaurant.
it wasn't as good as Milton. They was good.
No, Milton.
Milton was
They were the last place in Britain to get rid of the grass. Because, and he had it well stitched up, you know. He knew how a dog could run the track. And you had to run the track. And it was the inside air. Well, I don't know if any of you know, when it first opened, it was run by the Crays. Yeah, it was run by the Crays.
Charlie was the main one.
And they was run by the Crays. And they used to ring up a track in London, and because Ware told me, or Ware, we used to do the racehorse and that, and he said they used to ring up somebody training in London. Oh, you've got a dog, Black Harry. Oh, bring Black Harry Dane, he's in the 4th race. And I said, what? Bring it, Dane. And it was then, and backed off the board and won. But that was like their perks. But the Crays run that for quite some time. And then they sent somebody, they had trouble, and they sent somebody to America, and he thieved off the mob. So they rung the Crays, said, look, you've got to get him back. He'll be killed here. So anyway, they got him back. He ended up managing Portsmouth for a while. So that's how bad Portsmouth was. It was a crooked track. Well, the Golden Muzzle, that was their top race in them days, and it was about 2,000 to the winner, which is 20,000 now. Yeah, a mate of mine won it.
That was me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was me. One of the last
you
ones.
won it. Yeah.
That's the night I went to
Joe Burridge won 3 times, and a mate of mine, Chrissy Head, he won.
They pulled the air on me, 15
Yeah.
clear. 15 clear, the whole
Yeah,
straight, and they
yeah.
pulled the air.
And we had that.
Bolt in the final.
What did I
Got
do
beat.
the night I won it,
Yes.
Ian?
Yeah.
What did
And
I have to
admitted
do?
And admitted it, Tony.
With
Ian.
Vinnie Jones's the
Oh
pitch.
yeah, they were there. Yeah.
I had to dig out the trench across
That's
to let
right,
the
yeah.
water off because
Yeah,
the track
just-
was flooded.
yeah.
Got borrowed water pumps. You
Well,
remember?
the top of the NGRC then, or one right up the top, other than the manager there, but he was well up. He had NGRC 1 or whatever. No, what was it? He's GRA 1.
Oh, the number plate.
Yeah,
Number plates.
GRA 1. That was the manager, and I was his minder for years. The strokes he got me into, the trouble. Oh. But anyway, cut a long story short, I gets approached. I was at not Lingfield. No, where was it? The schooling track, which just outside Brighton.
Vernon Fall.
No, the one at Young
Bob
he had.
Young's.
Bob
Bob
Young's.
Young's, yeah.
Bob Young's.
So I'm
Bowling or something.
yeah. Anyway, I was there, tried a few dogs. Bloke comes up to me, would you train a dog for me? I said, well, it depends what it is. Well, don't worry, he said, you'll get well paid. And so, opened my hands up, yeah, give me the dog. We took the dog up, got it home. He let me get on with it, never interfered. So I rings him up one day, I said, look, the dog will win tonight. You sure? I said, well, I wouldn't be fucking ringing you up, would I? I said, I wouldn't go out my way and ring you up. All right, it win, yeah. Just before the race, gates opened, in he's come, the fella. Pisses up, he's ended up 500 quid he gave me. It was a lot of money then, and I thought, fuck me, I better look after this one. So I set it up again, wins again, he pays me again. But the strange thing about it, Bob Rowe was the GRA top man then. He's come in the bottom gate, stood there, watched the race, and walked out with his remember that long raincoat he had? He stood there, he watched the race, didn't say a word, didn't talk to anybody, turned around and walked out. Never said a word. So it had to be something with the top people. We had, there was a bitch in Ireland, kept throwing in every litter she had. And that is, I think they'll all bear this out here. If you get a bitch that throws them, they keep on throwing them. Forget the stud dog, because a friend told me when we lived in Ireland and raced in Ireland, he said if you got 10 stud dogs in a line and you marked up, he said there wouldn't be a length between them at the end of the field. He said that's how good the stud dogs are. That's why they're stud dogs. He said, but the bitch, if she throws them, she will keep on throwing them. So he said, always look for the dam line. Don't worry about the stud dog. Go for that dam line. Well, we had a couple off of this bitch, previous litters. We're watching the television and my Tony loves a drop of cider, so she's got her cider there and I had one. The phone goes, listen, that mother you said let you know when she had another litter. He said, well, I've managed to get rid of them all, but I've got 3 left, 3 bitches. So Tony negotiates with him, but the proviso was that he had to rear them. So, and he was quite expensive to rear, actually. It wasn't cheap, but it didn't matter at the end of the day. Tony had the deal with him, and we bought 2 bitches. And she said it was for my birthday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was my birthday. Anyway, got the 2 bitches. He's going to rear them. The deal was done. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there having a drink. Tony's saying, well, I can't wait to see these pups because the previous litters were good. So I said, what has he got? 1 left. I said, ring up, have a deal, get the other one. I said, you can't leave one there on its own. This is a gospel truth what happened. Tony's a bit whiny by now. She rings up, has a deal with this other bitch. And to this day, the man still says to us, he doesn't know what was the last one we bought. So I guarantee that was Perky, because he didn't want to admit it, that was the one he could have kept. Anyway, she came over. First of all, we get a phone call. Listen, them puppies, yeah, I've slipped them around the schooling track. I can sell them for a profit on what you've given me and rearing. You can still have a profit before they race. Well, I'm a gambler. Well, I was more then. But I said, look, we've kept him this long. There's got to be something in it for him to ring us up. He's kept them all that time. No, I said, no, don't worry, send them over. They're ready for coming over. I brought them over. Well, we went and got them. And I started them off. They went beyond the bull air up the field and they were flying. So I said, these do look special. They can run. So I took them to Sullivan's. We went to Sullivan's place. Within 2 runs, he's telling me to take them away. I said, why? He said, they're as good as I've had reindeer. He said, I'm telling you now, go and do your job properly. Now put them on a proper track. So I took him to Wembley.
No, Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, I mean, sorry, tell a lie. I took him to Wimbledon. Within 2 runs, the first time the Perky bitch, she done 29-20, first look. She was 15 months old then. I thought, this is going to be some bitch. Next week, takes her back there, 28.84. The phone do not stop ringing, so it's got to be from the office. You want to sell the bit? You want to sell? No, not for sale, not for sale. I'll give the phone to my daughter. I said, answer that because I'm driving. She said, Dad, somebody's on the phone, they want to buy the bitch. Well, it could only be her. I said, no, it's not for sale. Well, yeah, look. He said, I'm going to make an offer, it's a real offer, and you get the bullshitters. He said to me, daughter, this is an offer. Would you take 20,000 for the bitch? I said, I tell him it's not for sale. I said, it's definitely not for sale. So, drops her off to work. I'm coming back about, I suppose, 300 yards. The phone goes again. Pulls over. It's Ted's on the phone. Stop it. Ian, listen. Skywalker man. The Skywalker man. So anyway, yeah, Ray Passon. So he said, Ian, see, it comes back to me. I'm not Dinny. Anyway, Ian, would you want to sell that bit? I said, no, she's not for sale, I told you. Listen, would you take 15,000? I said, don't talk fucking stupid. I said, I've just entertained 20. I'm not going to take 15. I said, she ain't for sale. Oh, well, you know, it's got it. I said, I haven't got a price. I said, she's not for sale. So I slammed the phone down. Gets home within 10 minutes of being in the house, the phone goes. Hello? Yes, you've got a good bitch. I said, yeah. Listen, would you take a price for it? I said, no, I can't. I said, I've turned down big money for it. No. Listen, I'll make you one offer only. I said, she's not for sale, mate. I said, you're wasting your time. He said, look, I'll give you one price, £40,000. I said, I don't want to sell her. I said, who is it? Anyway, bang, the phone went down. Now, I reckon that was the office at Wimbledon. They put somebody to buy her. And look at this, how good she was. She had 28 races and won 20.
Yeah, but then she won a lot for us.
Oh, yes.
Well, the thing is, you're
And I
either
was
a
gambling.
seller or a keeper, aren't you?
Yeah, and I was gambling then. You
They're
couldn't
only as
buy
good
her.
as the last run because they break the leg of 40 grand.
Yeah, but you know,
You know what I mean?
but it's a gamble rearing her, wasn't it?
I know, but if it had been me, I would have been different.
Yeah, but
and the league.
But look what she won.
Yeah.
But, you know,
she won the select stake. She's won the Oaks by 6.5.
Ian, I know she was great.
Puppy.
Yeah.
But at the time,
Yeah.
you think, you see, you must have
But I didn't need it, did I? I
Did
didn't need
Charlie
it.
Lister used to train her?
Yeah, because how that come about? He only found 60 spots with her, you know. I would have found more than that. But although Charlie's a lovely man. I
So
love
he
him,
trained her to win the big races?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
because
think-
my
yeah.
mum
Why
had
was that then?
cancer.
Tony's mum.
My mum got diagnosed with cancer just as Perky was taken off. So I was like on the trainer anyway. I had to give up my training week for that year to look after my mum.
Oh, that's why.
So that's why, I said to Ian, I'd rather put her somewhere, let her get her name.
Yeah.
Because that's what she deserved. We knew she was good. The two sisters were good. And he took Perky first office at Nottingham. And we put her in a race and he took her that night. And then he went down to Oxford. That's when we backed her with you.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
I was enjoying myself as you mentioned it.
We had a...
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
I think we had
People
a...
that come up here, they used to say that you say them well done,
Yeah.
weren't they?
You've always got a smile on your
Yeah.
face, Gal, when you
But
pay out.
I think there was...
It's false. That's
Yeah,
false.
you had. I think we had a couple of £100 with you, and then Taylor, who used to be with.
Yeah, the one that had the derby winners.
Who you was
Taylor
on about?
Sky, Steve
Yeah,
Sky,
Steve.
He's
He
backed
backed her as well.
I think you backed her 500 the
Yeah,
other day, didn't you?
and I'll never forget it because we took our daughter with us to watch her run. This was like, yeah. And Steve Taylor gave my daughter 60 quid. She thought she won the. Yeah, you give her 60 quid.
What would be the biggest win that you've had, John, out of all, you've been at the game years and years and years, like all of us, but what would be the you know, not like money, not money-wise, but in your heart?
The dog won, when the doggy won the Laurels.
The
It was
Laurels.
the biggest gamble.
Who was that, John?
Tony Morris said like he was gone, near enough gone,
Really?
with Danny. Danny Damney.
Danny
Danny Damney, another name, isn't it?
A dog, I bought,
He could lie.
Top name.
I bought, I bought the dog. I tell you what, you'd like a few of them in the game today.
Yeah. Look, when you've done the job
bought-
there then, John.
Bought the dog in Clonmel. I think it was £4,000. Done the deal for him.
He was the first one that won it. He was saying he owned it.
And I said to the chap, he was down to run. I said, let the dog run, and the dog won. He came over to me. I put him around Ockenden a couple of times. I took him to Wimbledon. Qualified him at Wimbledon. And he had his first race at Wimbledon, I'll never forget it. And Danny was there. I said, don't have a bet. He's only a baby. He hit the rail at the first bend. He come out, he lost his footing out of the box. He hit the fence at the first bend, finished tail off last. Danny said to me, don't ever run that dog again here. I said, Granny, go away and teach your grandmother to suck eggs, will you? I schooled him at Ockenden. I took him back to Wimbledon. I held on to him a bit. And I went up.
What does that mean, John?
Yeah, what's that?
Give him a pound of meat before he went.
And 2 pints of water.
Simon Harris was the racing manager. I went up to Simon Harris. I said, would you do me a favour, Simon? He says, what's that? Put that dog in the Laurels. He said, are you gone mad? A pup in the Laurels with Derby dogs? I said, put the dog in the Laurels, please. He put him in, and I'll never forget it. I rang Danny on a Wednesday, I think it was. I said, what are you doing Friday? He said, not a lot, is he going racing? He said, I can't do it. I said, be round to me, will you? Come with me. I had the blue Merc then, put the dog in the back. He said, where are we going? I said, Wimbledon. He said, that's slip away in the back, innit? I said, yeah, he's running and he won't be beat tonight. Where are we going? I said, Wimbledon. He said, no, you're having a joke. I said, Danny, do me one favour. Have what you like on him and punt him big with Morris for anti-post. 28 to 1, I think he was, which was an odd price. But anyway, he lumped on him and he done the job. Coming home, I happened to say to Danny, I said, this Merc's getting slower every day. I must do a touch somewhere and get a new one. The next week, back again, he won again. Back again the next week, I got beaten in the semi-final. Now they're all laughing. I drew trap 4 in the final and I said to him, you can have what you like on. This will win. And Tony Morris come up to me before when we were having a cup of tea after kennelling inside. He come up, he said, John, he said, I'm on the floor if this wins. He said, he's fleeced me and 2 books in Ireland. He's come back to him, said. So I said, fair enough. The dog done the job. He's the youngest winner ever.
He won it?
He won it. He's the youngest winner ever of the Laurels. He's only a baby.
What was his name, John?
Slipaway JD. He come up to me, that was a week after. He rang me, he said, where are you? I said, I'm at the kennel. Have you got an hour to spare? I said, I have. I'll pick you up. He pulled up in a Bentley, come up the road, went to Romford. I thought he was going to Romford Dog Track. He pulled in the Mercedes garage on the corner.
Oh, lovely.
He pressed a button on the thing, the glove compartment open. He said, there's a carrier bag there. Take it, go in there, pick the Merc of your choice and pay cash for it.
Cool.
34,500.
34.5 grand?
For the top of the range Mercedes estate.
I know what you did. You went to the local auction.
No. I went in and paid.
20 grand in your pocket.
I went in.
I remember it. I remember it.
I went
second trap 5 to Queenan, third trap 2 to the place, sixth line.
Come this way.